What's going on, y'all? I normally don't like talk about like these events and breaking news and everything, but I wanted to talk about the Rodney Hinton Jr. case. The man who lived the pain that no father should ever known. His son, his seed, his legacy was taken from him by a cop. And y'all know how that goes. The system ain't always just, and sometimes it feels like the scales tip against us from the jump. And I believe that Rodney loved his son. I believe that the love was deep, like roots in the concrete holding everything together. But when his son was taken, that love turned into something else. It turned into anger, rage, a fire that couldn't be put out. And I get it. When you love somebody that much and they're ripped away from you, it feels like the world owes you something. It feels like justice gotta be served by any means necessary. But here's the thing. Rodney took justice into his own hands. He killed a cop. And for a moment, maybe he thought that would balance the scales. But let me tell you this. Nothing good comes from that. Nothing. It's like trying to put out a fire with gasoline. You just make it worse. Now let me give y'all a quick analogy here, alright? Imagine you're standing in front of a mirror and somebody smashes it. You're mad, right? So you take a hammer and smash their mirror. So at the end of the day, all you got is broken glass everywhere. You ain't fixed nothing. You just created more shards, more cuts, more pain. That's what happens when we take justice into our own hands. We think we're fixing it, but we're just making it worse. And to really be honest with y'all, I know about retaliation. And I know that retaliation doesn't solve anything. Now, you'll get a temporary glory like, you was 10 toes down, you stand on business, if it was me, I would have did the same thing, you did right, man. Yeah, you get that temporary glory, but at the end of the day, you're the one that's going to have to face the consequences. And as y'all know in this Rodney Hinton Jr.'s case, if he's convicted, he may have to face the death penalty, all right? But let me keep it biblical for y'all, all right? The word says, vengeance is mine. I will repay, saith the Lord. Now, you'll find that in Romans 12:19. All right? That means it is not our job to play judge, jury, and executioner. God sees everything. He knows the pain, the anger, the injustice. And he's the only one who can truly make it right. But I know what y'all thinking. How am I supposed to sit back and do nothing when my child, my brother, my sister is taken from me? And I hear you. And I feel you, but let me tell you this, taking a life for a life does not bring nobody back. It just leaves more empty chairs at the table, more broken hearts, and more pain, all right? Rodney's story is a cautionary tale, all right? It's a reminder that even in our darkest moments, we got to trust God's plan. We got to let him handle the justice, because when we try to do it ourselves, we end up like Cain, marked by our own actions, carrying the weight of what we've done. So all I'm saying is, love y'all people, fight for them, but don't let your love turn into something that destroys you. Don't let your anger make you into something you ain't. Because at the end of the day, the only way to break the cycle is to let God handle it. And Rodney, I feel his pain, and I can't even imagine the weight that he's carrying. But I'm here to let all of y'all know that there is another way. We can't keep fighting fire with fire. We got to fight it with faith. We got to fight it with love. And we got to trust that God's justice is greater than ours. So let's pray for Rodney. Let's pray for the families who've lost loved ones. Let's pray for the system to change. But most of all, let's pray for the strength to let go of the hammer and trust the one who can truly fix the mirror. God bless and peace.